Alright, well, welcome back to Shane's Main Shop. Today I'm going to make two small bedside stands. So I just made a new raised platform for my bed, and we don't really have stands the right height. So I'm going to go ahead and make them, and I'm going to also make them so they'll actually work on our bus conversion as well. So if you follow my other channel, Life the Wild Ride, you know that we are converting a bus to a tiny house slash camper. And so once we hit the road, these stands that I make will fit perfectly in that environment as well. So I'm going to start off by making the legs, and I'll just kind of show you the process a little bit as we go. I'm going to be making two of these, but I think I'm just going to make one at a time. So I got the four legs cut down here. I'm just going to run them to the planer to clean them up, and then we'll glue these up, and then I'll move on to getting the wood together for the top and the shelf in between. All right, we got the first four legs glued up all together here. So we're going to set those aside and move on to top. So I've selected some pieces I'm going to be gluing together for the top. And I need to make two shelves. Well, one's going to be the top, and there'll be one shelf a little bit further down. I've got one gluing up right there. I'm going to do another one, and then I'll do two more also while everything's drying, so I'll have some started for the next table. And I might even move on to the other four legs while all of this stuff is still drying. So I still got this, and I still got these legs from the first one. All right, so I got all the tops. All right, so I cut out some more leg pieces, and basically I'm going to glue them together so they're thick enough, and then I'll cut them down to squares, and then I'll do some cuts to have tapered legs as well. All right, so I'm going to want tapered legs on this these two end tables, so I just made this quick jig really fast here. You can see I've got a taper to it by putting these spacers in, so this will ride against the fence like that, and you can see that is getting into the blade. And I may have to adjust this taper, so I'm going to do a couple of sample cuts on something else first, scrap wood, and we'll go from there. But it is about lunchtime. Finally pulled the first legs out of the clamps, and I have dialed in my taper jig. I had to add a little spacer here. Again, this is just going to be thrown away. I'm just going to use it for this one thing. Eventually I'm going to make me an adjustable one. I probably should square these up first. That's probably what I'll do first. Square everything up and then cut the taper on them. So let me get back to you, see how this comes out. Okay, so I got them all squared up. What I'm going to do now is flush up one end, measure them all to length, cut them off, and then I'm going to select the sides that I want to taper down. And how I'm going to do that, I'm just going to pick the worst sides and try to taper that to eliminate it. Like right here, I'll make sure this is one of the sides that gets tapered away. So that's what I'm going to do now. Clean them up, bring them to length, and then start to get the taper on them. I still got the other four to do, but I'm going to go through four first to see how it all works out. I got them all squared up. They're all cut to length. I know the sides, I know the end I'm going to taper. I've got a line at the 18-inch up mark, because that's going to be where the first shelf is, and then the top shelf there. I know that seems narrow, but that's exactly what I'm looking for this application. So, yeah, so I got all of them marked. And I'll be tapering two sides, and I will select those sides as I go. For example, this will be a side I taper. This will be a side. This will be a side. So I'm going to go ahead and you can see this is all locked in now. I got the first one in there, and the blade makes contact right just about a little bit past this first line. So this will still be a square spot for me to attach a shelf, although the taper will be on the outside. But anyways, let's just get to it and see how these things turn out. Tapered legs, probably kind of hard to tell on the camera there, but if you look at the end here and end here, it's definitely a difference. Actually, what I'll do is I'll set two next to each other to show you. There's a difference in taper right there. So I just got two of them laid end to end, reversed. If I pick them up and reverse them. So there you go. All right, so that's the first four legs. And I still got the marks on there for where my shelves will go. So we're going to move on to, probably going to have to do the other legs because the tops are still all gluing. We'll see. So I'll just take some measurements here. Obviously the top, so this is upside down. Legs would sit on here. It doesn't matter where the taper is right now. But they're going to be against these lines. So the next shelf down is going to be even. So this is the top shelf upside down. This will be rounded over, and I want a little bit overhang. The next shelf, I want it even with the legs. So I set this up for the distance that I wanted, which is a 1/2 inch in, and then measured this distance and cut this that size. Then what I'm gonna have to do is then just not take out all the corners for the legs to sit in, and then that'll give me, I'll be able to put that in there. So that's what I'm getting ready to do next. Now I stood each leg upside down on here to cut them out. And just in case there's some slight differences in the legs, I labeled the legs and I labeled the board. So I'm going to go ahead, everything's labeled, so they'll go back in those positions. And I labeled the first one here. I got to remember, this is going to be cut out and gone, so it won't help me anything. So you better make sure you label off to the side, and that'll all be sanded off. So I'm going to go and get this cut out here, kind of give you a little bit of what I'm talking about. So the leg will be on here like this. And I got number 4, and here's my number 4. Oh, this one will be up here. See that line? That's where it's going to be. I deliberately went a little bit deep with the line so I could sand the shelf down and not the leg. But that's what we're looking at. Something like along those lines. And this will go right to there. So I'm in the process of clamping this up. I don't know how much I showed you. I think I kind of forgot. Got the pocket holes drilled in here. And I'm putting the screws in, and what I did is I put spacers in all around here to keep the legs nice and square, and then we'll do the top. But I'm in the process of putting the last couple of pocket hole screws in, which I gotta do by hand because not enough room in here to get the drill bit in, so I'll do those by hand, and then we'll flip this thing up the other way and get ready to put the top on it, which is right over there. All right, so what I did is this is the next table here. I just marked out my legs, and I made the cut. Turned it, made the cut, went all the way around, and then I set it this way to do this cut and turned it, went all the way around. But I didn't go all the way through, as you can see, because I didn't want the blade to go past where the leg is going to sit. A little tiny past there. But I'll finish this up with the handsaw, and that'll give me some nice straight cuts. I did the last one on the band side. I didn't like the result, so this will be a lot straighter and a more precise fit. All right, well, it's the next day, and I am gluing up the second bedside stand. It's upside down here. I'm putting the last screw in there, and the distance is so short I can't get a drill gun, but I got a ratcheting screwdriver with a square drive on it. So we're getting that put in, and what I've done up here is the same thing I did with the other ones. I cut these spacers and just clamped them in. Those are all going to come out, but it's just to keep all the legs nice and square, nice and straight, while everything is gluing up and drying. So I'm going to go ahead and get this last screw in, then we're going to go ahead and remove the rest of the clamps off that one. The top is just sitting there. I'm going to sand it all up and get it ready for some kind of finish. All right, so I'm back on the first one now that's completely dry, and I'm doing the tedious job, but probably the most important one to have a really good finish is the sanding and using the chisel here to clean up any glue in the little seams and joints. So I'm just trying to get it all cleaned up, and then I'm also using the sandpaper and easing over all of the corners so there won't be sharp corners. It'll be nice, like eased over and around it a little bit. And then I will repeat this with the other one, and then also do the top, and I might router over the edge of the top. We'll see. But once this is all done, I can move on to the painting and staining. I think I've wrapped up the tedious task of sanding and cleaning them up. Tops are not a task again, they're just sitting there. I even took the time to make sure these were all level, so the tops sit on there good and firm. Just got to wipe them all down, get the dust off them, and I believe I'm going to paint the bottoms white and then do a dark stain on the two tops. So I might break for lunch and then start that process when I come back. So I got some stain on the tops here and some paint. That'll dry, and then after I will sand it down and get another coat on it. And these, I may put another layer of stain, so I'm looking for a little bit darker if I can. But so far, I like what I'm seeing. So I'll probably the next clip I show you will be them finished. I got these finished up. The tops are all glued down and fastened in place, and there you go. I think they came out pretty darn good considering. So these will be bedside stands for us, and then when we hit the road and they're on the bus, then these will be little side tables next to our recliners. So I built them as a two-purpose stand. So I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked the construction of these. Please like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions. We'll see you in the next video.